Hello, Algebra. Can you believe we're at the end of the school year? We are starting to review all of what we learned this semester. So we're going to start with Chapter 7. So in Chapter 7, we learned about systems of equations. And we had to find a solution. And we learned 3 different methods to solve our system of equations. Now, some methods are easier when it's in a certain form, like graphing. Graphing, for instance, we would use when both of the equations are in the y equals form. Why? Because then they're already in slope-intercept form. All right, so the first thing we would have to do is we need to identify what our slope is and what our y-intercept is for our first equation. So what is my slope? Remember, my slope is the number in front of the x, and if it's a whole number, it's over 1. So what number is in front of that x? -1. And remember, we want to write it over 1 because this is our rise and this is our run. Okay? Now, what's my y-intercept? My y-intercept is here because slope-intercept, remember, is y equals mx plus b. This is my slope. This is all the way from semester 1. And this is my y-intercept. So, in this case, what's my y-intercept? It's 2. So, to graph that line, I need to go over to 2 on the y-axis, and I need to put a dot. And then from that dot, I need to now go down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1, put a dot. It's not on the line. There we go. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. And I can keep doing that all I want. Okay? So that's my line. Now, remember, you want to use a ruler to connect that, which we'll do in a minute. Okay. Now I need to graph my second line. My second line, what's my slope? Let's see. Okay, I paused it to change my rise and run. My slope for my second line is 1/2, and my y-intercept is 5. So how do I graph this line? Well, I have to go up to 5, and I have to put a dot. And from that dot, I'm going to do a rise of 1, a run of 2. Rise of 1, run of 2, go over 2, put a dot. Go up 1, over 2, put a dot. Up 1, go over 2, put a dot. Now, I have to look for where these two lines cross. So, I need to draw my lines now. I'm going to pause while I do that. You use a ruler to draw your lines. Okay, I have my lines drawn. Now, I have to decide where they cross. Well, they cross right here. Okay, what is that point? -2, comma, up 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's my answer. -2, 4. All right. You think you can do that? You'll have some practice in a few minutes. All right, our next method was called substitution. We use substitution when we either have one equation in x equals or y equals. So what do I have in this case? In this case, I have a y equals. All right, so now I'm going to take this equation and I am going to rewrite that 4x plus 2y equals 10. And I am going to take this and I'm going to replace my y because it's y equals. Okay, so if I do that, I'm going to get, whoops, I'm going to get 4x plus 2. I'm going to replace my y again with 3x minus 10. And that is going to all be equal to 10. So all I replaced was my y. Now I have to do the math. So I'm going to get 4x plus 6x minus 20 equals 10, and now I have to solve the equation. I'm going to pause the video while I do that. I'd like you to pause the video, come back and check your answer. So pause the video right now and solve that. Okay, so you should have got x equals 3. You should have combined your x's because they were like terms to get 10x. Add your 20 to both sides to get 10x equals 30 and divide to get x equals 3. Now, I'm not done yet because I need an ordered pair for an answer. So I have my 3 for my answer, but now I have to figure out what my y is. So, do I have anything that will help me? I sure do. I have this y equals 3x minus 10. So I'm going to take that y equals 3x minus 10. And what am I going to do? I'm going to replace my 3, my x with my 3 from down here, right? Minus 10. This equals 9 minus 10. Y equals -1. And that's my answer. 3, -1. All right. The last method that we learned was elimination. When do we use elimination? We use elimination when our x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. In other words, they're stacked. So these are stacked. I've got an x and an x and a y and a y. Now, remember, I have to be able to eliminate one of these. In other words, I have to zero them out. And so I have to decide which one's easier. Well, it doesn't really matter. These ones are opposite already, so I think I'm going to do my y. If I do my y, I need to multiply this by 5 and this by 4. So I could do that. I need to multiply the whole thing. Or, if I do my x, I need to multiply this and this by 3, and this by 7, but they're not opposite of each other, so one of these has to be negative. I'm going to make it the 3 just because it's smaller. Okay? What do I get? So I get -21x plus 12y, negative times a negative is a positive, equals a positive 126. Okay? If I do my 7, I'm going to get positive 21x, positive 15y, that's not 15, 35y, and positive 203. Now remember, I need to add these together. Okay? Well, these are going to eliminate when I add them together. Here, I'm going to get 47y. Here, I'm going to get 329. And when I divide that by 47, and I divide that by 47, I get y equals 7. Okay? So now, how do I find my x? Well, I can take either one of these. I'm going to use the bottom one because it's positive. 3x plus 5y equals 29. What am I replacing? My y. So 3x plus 5. Replace my y with 7 equals 29 and solve. Pause the video, solve that, come back and see if you get the same answer. Okay, you should have got x equals -2. So my answer is -2, 7. And I'm done. All right, you have 6 problems on the back of this. I would like you to identify what you're using, graphing substitution or elimination. I'd like you to do them. I will post the answers in Schoology for you to check, and God bless.